Hi there, it's me, Barbie Tings, coming to you, wanting to give you some information today. Very important information that you will find vital to your well being. So, here recently, I have been doing some research, as I always do. And with that being said, it's about the current situation that we have going on here in the world. Yes, the world that you live in, that I live in, that you call your home. What situation am I talking about? Well, there's a whole bunch of situations, but this one in particular is referring to the coronavirus and the information that is being given to everyone out here and not given. So, we live in an information age, and that means that information is available to you. Um, it's readily available to you, and all you have to do is search for it. And that's what I'm doing today, bringing some information to you about the coronavirus, also known as COVID-19. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. So, it's come to my attention here recently that there are more coronavirus infections on the rise in the world, particularly in Houston, Texas, Harris County, and the USA. So, with that being said, I want to bring some light onto what is happening because even though a lot of people are social distancing and are keeping themselves, away from each other during this time and not having human contact, not being, you know, amongst each other, not touching, not, hugging, kissing, holding hands. A lot of people have, millions of people have stopped going to the theaters, to the movies, to the malls. A lot of people are staying at home and literally staying at home to the point where they are not coming out at all. And with that being said, you have to realize this information that came to my attention is because I keep asking myself, why are the numbers rising? And yes, I understand the numbers are rising, obviously, because it's a virus. However, you have to understand that, well, you don't have to understand, but it's just free advice to you guys that the virus literally is a dead organism. All viruses are dead, and that means that they cannot stay alive unless they infect a human live organism. What do I mean by that? So, viruses are dead organisms, and in order for them to reproduce, they have to come into a live host, aka a human that is alive, or an animal that is alive. And this is with most viruses and bacteria. So, even bacteria is actually a live organism, and a virus is not. So, what I need everyone to get the gist of is that without a live organism, the virus cannot be transmitted. And that's why all these risk factors that are contributing to people catching coronavirus are within the thoughts of many. However, you need to practice safety and you need to practice actual self care for yourself and loving yourself and not being indifferent. Stop being wishy washy. Literally, wash your hands. And the reason you have to wash your hands to not catch this virus is because that's the fastest way for transmission is human to human touch or sneezing or coughing. If the person's infected and touches any part of you which is alive and you allow that virus that is not alive to come into your being, whether it's through your eyes, through your nose, through your mouth, through your ears, and any other orifices that it could come through, then you will be infected and you will become the host. Like at a party, you are hosting this virus to have fun in your body party. Then it reproduces inside of your body, and that's how it becomes alive, active. We already have viruses and bacteria in our bodies, millions and trillions of cells, of course. Some of them are active, some of them are not active. And like the HIV virus, AIDS, it mutates, and the coronavirus, COVID-19 in particular, is a hybrid of AIDS. Yes, I said it, and this is true. You can look it up. The Italian Nobel Peace Prize winner made an article about this, and he has nothing to gain or lose by doing this besides just providing information. He's an independent person, a Nobel Peace Prize winner. It's an Italian. You could look it up for yourself, and it talks about how the coronavirus is a hybrid of AIDS because it is speculated, without giving too much information and causing more issues or problems for people, that it was made in a lab, and the lab worker got infected. It got out of control. It wasn't contained appropriately and was released into Wuhan. Now, I have firsthand knowledge of people that were in Wuhan in September, October of 2019, before this coronavirus even had a name attached to it. It was released to the public, and those people were infected by some unknown sickness that to this day they do not know what it is, but the symptoms relate a lot to what is going on. The people did recover. They were moved to actual Thailand to recover. They were American nationals, and they came back. So why am I doing this? Because I want to help people. And by helping people, I also help myself and my family and my community, which means that by spreading awareness of what is happening, it will hopefully get into the right hands, and the right people will listen to this and take heed to it and take the information and do something with it positive. So what I'm talking about today is a lot of information, yes, and I'll continue to post information about it to help everybody have a positive light about it. And even though the doctors are saying that most people will catch coronavirus, in fact, the whole world is supposed to be catching coronavirus, I disagree with that. For me and my house, we shall serve the Lord, and we are protected from deadly diseases and will not be infected, and we will not be catching this virus, nor transmitting this virus to anyone. And I urge everyone to stay safe, to stay healthy, to stay taking your vitamins A, B, C, D, and Z. Very important. Out of those vitamins, the most important one I would say during this time in particular is vitamin C. So drink orange juice, eat oranges, take a vitamin C supplement, however you want to do. These are water-soluble vitamins that I'm talking about, so you cannot overdose on them, i.e. you cannot be too healthy. With that being said, drink enough liquids, drink enough fluids, get enough rest, take care of yourself, have a healthy diet, make sure you exercise, and stay positive and stress-free, and allow no negativity around you. Also, I want to be sure that you understand that the exposure to the coronavirus is a big deal, and you should eliminate your exposure to it. And how would you do that? Of course, to wear your mask when out in public or around people, to minimize all human contact, to also make sure you stay healthy and have your immune system as strong as possible if you do get it, so you can fight it. Additionally, the other advice that I have to give on this post in particular, and this is the point of my post today, is to let everybody know that it came to my attention about 3 or 4 days ago, since the numbers are going up and they're supposed to be going down, yet they aren't. There's something going on, if you can understand that, that is not easily detectable, we could say. So I kept asking myself, I wonder why these numbers are coming up. If everybody's staying home, literally you can go outside right now and you can see that very minimal people are outside. Very minimal people are outside. And with that being said, that means that there's something going on other than just being outside. Okay? And then also, people are wearing masks. Complete, total coverage of your face. And still the numbers are rising. Also, business was shut down in the market, yet the numbers were going up still most of the places that people hang out and socialize were closed, and still the numbers are going up. So you have to ask yourself, what is going on? Like, what's happening? And I know everybody well, excuse me, not everybody, but some people have conspiracy theories, and some people say that this is going on or that's going on or this is, but the bottom line is, this coronavirus and the earth, I would have to say, in my point of view, is the earth thinks that we're the virus. Things have gotten out of control and out of hand. They've been out of control and out of hand. And this is the way of the earth telling us, I had enough. You're going to stop, whether you like it or not. And if you're not liking it, doesn't matter. You still have to go. So I'm not saying that everybody that has died or has got infected is a problem. However, I personally know people that have gotten it and spoken to them, and some of them have made it, some of them have not made it. And the ones that have made it are healthier. The ones that have made it are more positive. The ones that have made it do make it a point to reach out to God and search God and talk to God and be positive about all this, and keep in communication, and also keep others informed of what's going on to help everybody else, so we can all make sense of what's going on to the best of our abilities. So, I'm going to show you some information that's written down here that it came to my knowledge the other day, and I just have to share this with everybody. And I've shared this with about 10, 15 people with hopes of them passing it on to other people, their loved ones especially, so they can pass on to their loved ones. And if everybody loves everybody, at a certain point in time, we're all going to hear about it, right? So, secondhand smoke. This is the point of this video. So we're about 12 minutes into the video, and this is the whole gist of this particular video that I'm going to address. Knowledge came to me a couple of days ago. Wisdom came to me, and it said, you know what? You have to be careful, not just human contact, what's going on, because these numbers are going up. And what's happening is that this coronavirus, which is a inert, or rather a dead organism, is searching for life. Okay. And life is humans, animals, plants, things that are living, right? So when people are smoking, you take a cigarette and you smoke, and when you smoke in, you breathe in, and the smoke travels down your esophagus, your windpipe, and it comes down into your lungs, and it's in your lungs, and the smoke is in here, and then you breathe out. And when you breathe out, the air in your lungs has made a cycle in here, and it's coming back out through your mouth or through your nose, however you decide to let the smoke out, right? If in fact you are infected with the coronavirus, then what that would mean is that now the coronavirus itself that was inside of your lungs just hitched a ride, potentially, on this cloud of smoke that has traveled inside of you, and it's coming out of you. And when it comes out of you, it shoots out into the air. And it has a radius, a diameter of where it reaches. And anybody in that vicinity, anybody in that direct path of where the wind blows it or how it moves, before it dissipates, before it evaporates, before it vanishes, is viruses are traveling on it. And a little kid could be watching, a kid could be passing by and breathes it in on his bike, or a mother could be walking maybe to do her laundry and she breathes it in and now she's infected. Or it could be your grandmother, even in your own house, if you're infected and trying to quarantine away from the rest of the house. Secondhand smoke travels, and it has an unknown path every time, but God knows the path, obviously, because he sees everything. But we can't necessarily see the smoke after it dissipates, after a certain amount of particle evaporation, right? However, the virus still stays in the air, and it lingers, and it keeps going on. And it depends on what wind is moving, how you're moving, what direction you're facing, who's around you, who's not around you, and it travels for a distance. Definitely. It would be interesting to do a study on how far secondhand smoke does travel, to see the potential deadly area or cone or cloud of where it goes through. Because if you can smell secondhand smoke, guess what? You can also inhale the coronavirus that's riding on that secondhand smoke. Now, this grieves me greatly because I know for a fact that people, when they do get stressed out, they start smoking more. And when they smoke more, especially chain smokers, it's more and more smoke. And this would be another reason of why it's so prevalent in uneducated communities, that people are dying of the virus and being infected, and also in areas that are poor or low income communities, because people are not having the knowledge that I'm wanting to share with people. And some do, but some don't. And some think and some don't think. It just depends on what you have going on, you know. But it's a common factor that if you're in an uneducated or poor area, you're going to be focused on eating or sleeping or being safe. And these kind of informations may or may not come to you, or you may be preoccupied or distracted and not listen to the knowledge that's coming to you, but it's everywhere. So with that being said, think about this. A lot of, well, I would say 50-60% of the world, they do not own their own house, and therefore live in a hotel or are homeless or live in an apartment complex. And these people that are living in this apartment complex in these hotels, then with that being said, they share the same ventilation system. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the ventilation system that they're in, you want to make sure that you're safe, because the ventilation system is shared in a unit in a whole apartment complex. And no matter if it's 2 units, 3, 5, or 10, guess what? Literally, you're sharing the same ventilation unit, the same HVAC, the heating, ventilation, AC system, HVAC is being shared. And what does that mean? That means that the secondhand smoke of your neighbors is traveling into your home, in your apartment, in your hotel. This is dangerous. And that would explain why so many more people are getting infected right now, because the secondhand smoke travels far, and it's traveling through the walls of the apartments that people live in. It's traveling through the hotel units. They also use the same HVAC units. It's traveling through the same mall areas. Not saying people are smoking in their malls, but I'm just saying, like, any area that smoke can get into, or people are smoking even 100 feet outside of the door, it's a potential for that secondhand smoke to travel near the ventilation unit. Even if you have a separate unit of ventilation, the smoke can still travel through it. And then to add to that, you have to take into consideration when you're driving your vehicle, you have different settings on your AC unit or heater unit. And a lot of people like to smoke in their cars. And that's fine. It's your choice. It's your lungs. You get to smoke. But the other people that are breathing in the secondhand smoke, if it's coming from an infected person, then guess what? It's a big chance for you to get it. And with that being said, like, say, for example, you're at the light. You're at the traffic light and you're just enjoying your day with your family, and you have your mask on, or you're in the car with no mask. I know people say, hey, you're in your car, you don't need a mask. Not the case. If you have your AC setting unit on for the vent to be taking the outside air in, you guys, you're literally sitting at a death trap at the light. A lot of people smoke with their windows down, and when they blow the air out, it comes out the window. And guess what? Your unit will suck it into your car, and you just breathe it all the way in. People that go to the club, same thing. People that go in any area where they're smoking, you're running a chance. Even at work, if you're working around people who smoke and they're outside smoking, remember, this virus is asymptomatic because it does resemble the AIDS, HIV virus. It's a hybrid of that, and you can't see the symptoms, effects of it until it actually becomes activated in your system, because it is something dead. It's a dead virus that needs life to reproduce and start growing more cells. Unlike bacteria, it's alive and it doesn't need a host to reproduce. It's already reproducing on its own. So what I'm trying to tell everybody is that I care about people. I love people very much, and I'm really concerned about everybody out here getting sick and breathing in this kind of air. So I encourage everyone to wear your mask. Please wear your mask. Be careful if you're around secondhand smoke, or even if you are not smelling secondhand smoke, guys. It's in the air, it travels, and it could be suspended in air for a while, waiting on the next victim to come to it. And let that not be you or your children or anybody. You guys, this is serious. And then even the fact of you know, vaping, same thing. Even people who use drugs, and I'm not condoning anyone for what they're doing. Everybody makes their own choices. It's just that that's why the numbers are going up, guys. Girls, ladies, men, women, children. This is what's happening. And that's why so many people in so many poor communities are also dying and getting infected, because you're sharing the same heating, ventilation, AC, the HVAC system is the same in apartment complexes. Now, mind you, this might cause, for apartment complexes to have to shut down, or to people have to move out and find houses, but there's houses for everybody, y'all. There's money for everybody in this world. There's enough for all of us. It just matters what you want and what you choose, and it's all up to you what you create in this world. So with that being said, I hope this helps everyone. I hope you think about these things, and I honestly wish everybody the best, because also, in addition to the secondhand smoke, you have the industrial area of so much pollution and smog, and mixed in with so many other things, this virus can be lingering around for a while. That's why they're telling you to wear your mask. It's not draconian. It's not, we hate you, or we're trying to get you to, not have fun or freedom. No, guys, no. On the quite contrary, the authorities are really wanting to help you, and so is your community, and so are people like myself that really care about you and want to help you. I'm going to show you some information on here about the, COVID here. I'm going to switch my camera around. I'm going to try to turn it so you can see it clearly. But yeah, if you're in the casino, if you're in, a bar, if you're, anywhere, the ventilation systems, it does not eliminate exposure to gases, toxins, viruses, carcinogens, contained in secondhand smoke or e-cigarettes, vapes, aerosols. So sadly enough, more than 100 Americans do die every day just from secondhand smoke exposure. Hospitality workers, it's a health hazard for everyone, but everyone breathing in a building with smoking. Exposure to secondhand smoke is a health risk that we can eliminate by closing gaps in smoke-free protections for all workplaces, public places, and multi-unit homes. I know the corporations or the tobacco companies want to enable indoor smoking in venues like bars, music venues, and casinos as a way to maximize smoking profits and keep people addicted to tobacco and nicotine products. But community health experts and advocates must continue their efforts to prevent rollbacks to smoke-free protection. So already secondhand smoke does make it breathing more difficult, and is a significant risk factor for many underlying health conditions. And, they're linked more severe to COVID-19 disease, including heart disease and lung infections and lung functions and respiratory illnesses. So this is information that I'm going to show you here on the American Non-Smokers Rights Foundation, respiratory risk factors and COVID, updated actually just 4 days ago. So here you go. Check this out, if you can see that. And with that being said, right there, you can check that out. And we're going to scroll down right here. Talks about respiratory risk factors and COVID-19. Reminds us that health prevention and policies greatly matter. So you guys stay protected, wash your hands, eliminate secondhand smoke. Is critical to prevent acute and chronic diseases. Let's save lives by reducing the risk of heart disease, stroke, and respiratory diseases. But yeah, there you have it right here. Secondhand smoke exposure, just like coronavirus, secondhand smoke spreads throughout a building. Casino, bar, and hotel ventilation systems do not eliminate exposure to the gases, toxins, and such. So, secondhand smoke does make it more difficult to breathe. It's a significant risk factor for many underlying health conditions. It talks about the Center for Disease Control has guidance on preventing risk for coronavirus and outlining which populations are more at risk. You guys be careful out here. It's a perfect time to go smoke free. Many restaurants, bars, and casinos are now closed due to the emergency subsidies. But for those that have not, now it's time to clear the air. It says right here. In addition to the deep cleaning to disinfect against germs and viruses, consider the tobacco smoke residue, including gases, toxins, carcinogens, particularly left in the air on walls and surfaces. So we're encouraging people to be smoke free during this time to help people. And if that's not enough information, here you go for the World Health Organization. You see that right here. Health topics, Q&A, tobacco and COVID-19. As a smoker, is my risk of getting the COVID-19 virus higher than that of a non-smoker? There's no peer-reviewed studies right now about SARS and COVID, right? Infection with smoking. However, tobacco smokers, cigarettes, water pipes, biddies, cigars, heated tobacco products may be more vulnerable to contracting COVID-19 as the act of smoking involves contact of fingers and possibly contaminated cigarettes with the lips, which increases the possibility of transmission of viruses from hand to mouth. Smoking water pipes, also known as shisha or hookah, often involves the sharing of mouthpieces and hoses, which could facilitate the transmission of COVID-19. Also, if you guys smoke weed or blunts or, vape, pens, dabs, same thing. You're touching your hand and your mouth, and so are your friends. So stop it right now. Just stop. And then on this one right here, can secondhand spread through secondhand smoke? Dr. Malika Marshall answers your questions. Malika Marshall right here in Massachusetts is continuing to fight the pandemic. And Dr. Malika Marshall answered some of those questions sent. So yeah, it's saying right here, yes, the coronavirus is not spread by mosquitoes or ticks, but you're right. We still have to protect ourselves from insect-borne diseases like Lyme disease and West Nile virus. So here you have it. Can COVID be spread through secondhand smoke? Andrew on Facebook wants to know. It says that the virus doesn't necessarily hit you right on smoke, guys, but whenever someone smokes or vapes, they're breathing out respiratory droplets. So the virus doesn't hit you right on the smoke, but it does hit you right on the respiratory droplets that they're breathing out. So if you're near someone who is smoking and you can smell the smoke and that person is sick with COVID-19, you're at risk of getting sick yourself. It says it right here. Hope y'all can see that. I think you can. You're at risk of getting sick yourself, not to mention long-term secondhand smoke exposure can damage your lungs and make you more susceptible to coronavirus complications. Dr. Malika Marshall. Okay. So I'm going to be following her on Facebook here, adding her on my page. And I just want to tell you guys that, I hope y'all really think about what I'm telling you and realize that I'm being positive as possible. And I just want you to be able to still hear something like this from your loved ones. So you can say, hello. Yes. Oh, I'm still okay. I'm good. Thank you. Yeah. As opposed